Okay, so let's make a WIX website, and we'll start from the beginning. So the first thing we need to do is go to wix.com, that's WIX.com, and it's going to come up with this page right here. What kind of website would you like to create? And at this point, it doesn't really matter. We have to click on something, though, so we'll just click on Business over here on the left side. And then we want to hit Get Started. Okay. Now, when you first start, most of us have not built, or most of the people that I'm training have not built, created a WIX website. So we're going to go, I'm a new user. And then, of course, create a new email address. And then, of course, put in the password. And they're going to ask for it again. And the password again. Okay, now, as I go through the training, it's always a good idea to pause the video if you need to just simply back it up or replay a certain part as we go through on this training. And this WIX is free, so you don't have to worry about buying anything. If they do ask you to buy or upgrade, most of the services that we get on WIX we don't need to upgrade for. So now on the left side here you'll see blank templates after you create your account. So you left click on blank templates, and then you want to look for start from scratch. So what I did was I scrolled down this little white box over here. You have to put the mouse over the box under start from scratch. You have to look for that box, and then it says price free, and then you want to left click on edit. And it usually takes about, I don't know, 10-15 seconds to load. So at this point you don't want to click on anything, you just need to wait for it to load. Okay, any boxes that come up, you want to exit off the boxes. Okay, you get a nice white screen here, and I always like to start with a clean, so I left click on this little X up here in the upper right. So it's a nice clean spot here. Then we're going to go to background. Now you'll find that there's 5 elongated circles here on the left side: background, add, market, my uploads, and start blogging. These 2 in the upper left are primarily 99% of the time the ones that you're going to be using is background and add. So knowing that, that narrows down most of everything that we're going to be doing. The last 3, rarely do we ever touch them. Okay, that's more advanced and things like that. So we're going to left click on background. And to keep the website real simple, we're going to use a just a straight color. And we're going to, in this case, left click on color. And why don't we use, we can use blue or red or yellow. In this case, why don't we use black? So we're going to left click on black, and then click on the X here, and then we're going to click on the X up here. Now we want to get rid of this white area here so that it's a solid black page. In that case, we're just going to put the mouse inside the white area here, and we're going to right click, okay, and then click on change page design, or up here change page design, and we're going to left click on that. And that's going to bring this box up over here on the right side. It says page design. Now sometimes the box can be on the left side. In this case it's on the right side. And then we're going to go to no color and left click on no color. And then we want to exit off the box. So now we have a clean page that's all black. Now it could be all yellow if we want. We can go back and change that background anytime we want to any color that we want. So even after the website is finished, we can always go back and change the background. Now what we're going to do is we're going to create a title at the top. A lot of people like to put their domain name at the top. So we're going to go now and work it most of the time in the add button on the left side. So we're going to left click on the add button, and you'll notice that you have a whole bunch of options here all the way through, from text, image, gallery, button, box. We're going to use a lot of these. So we're going to start with the text. Now, when you put your mouse over text, you don't have to click on anything. It automatically brings up text. Now you'll notice that if I want to do text, I have to, once I've clicked on text, and once the mouse is on top of text, you have to move the mouse over to the right and then down. If you'll notice, if I'm on text and I move down and then I'm going down, then I go over, oh, where'd my text go? So you want to go to text and then move completely over to the right. Then that'll give you the control. Now, there's two ways to move down the fonts, I guess you call them. One is you can use your mouse to scroll up and down like this. And the other, if you don't have that little circle thing on your mouse to scroll up and down, you can go over here to the scroll bar, and it's this blue area. And the way you move that is you left click on this blue arrow area here for the scroll bar up and down, just like it works on the right side of every website as well. Now my favorite is bold title. So we're going to grab left click on bold title and drag it over to the website and drag it up to the top. And then we're going to let go. So when you have to left click on it and then don't let go, drag the mouse over to the right off on the page and then let go. And then this comes up. I always like to put don't show this again. Okay, it's like a pop-up that they give you, and then I hit close. That way that won't come up to bother us again. Now, depending on the background of the color that you use, in this case it's black, you want to make sure that it sticks out on the page. So we need to change the color on this and type out what we're going to make here. So you want to widen this up, and you'll notice that when you left click off of the title here, and then you left click back on, it has these little white circles, and there's a middle circle on this right side. And when you see the double arrow there, see how that double arrow is? I take it off, put it back on. There's a double arrow the mouse creates. And let's go back. Remember, if you left click off of it, there you go back on, there's no arrows there. So how do you get those? I mean, there's no white circles there. How do you get those back? You just simply left click on the actual font or the actual letters there. And then you can move the mouse over to the white circles until you get a double arrow. And then when you get a double arrow, and you'll notice you can do that on the left side too. See the middle one here on the left side and the middle one on the right side. Left click on it and don't let go, and you can widen it out. Now I recommend widening it out way more than you need, because when you get ready to type in something, you don't want it to go to the end of the line, because then it'll double up the line. It's a little harder to work that way. Now we're going to actually create the text. So we go down here and we hit Edit Text and left click on it. Anytime you want to edit something, okay? Now there's a couple ways to do it when you start making your title here. You can left click at the end of the E, okay? And you can backspace it all the way back. Or a quicker way to do it is you can left click it right between the B and the O, and then right click and then hold it down, left click, and paint it over. So you might want to practice on that. So again, you can left click or you can hit the backspace key all the way to the B. And by the way, don't delete the B, because that's what holds the character of that font. If you get rid of the whole thing, then you'll notice that when you start typing again, the font will be a totally different font than bold title. So the faster way of doing it is left click inside. Remember, you've already clicked Edit Text. That gives you the control of it. And you'll notice that it's flashing between the B and the O. Then you're going to left click again, but don't let go of the mouse, and move the mouse to the right. And you'll notice it'll highlight everything after the B. Okay? So we'll type in a made-up domain name. Let's say this, and remember it's going to be is my bestdomain.com. Now you'll notice I just made a domain up there, and you'll notice that I put it out there, and then I put the cursor between the B and the T again, and now I can backspace it. So I get rid of it. And now I want to move it, so I'm going to exit off of here. And by the way, this down here, this font size, you can move it back and forth to make it bigger or smaller. I happen to like that size, so I just leave it at that. And then there's one more thing I want to do. I want to highlight this again. All right, and we're going to change this to the color for this particular website to white. So I just move it up to white, and then I hit the X button, change, and then the X button again, the X to make it go out. So I didn't hit change, I just hit exit it out. Now I go back over to the right side and try to get that double arrow before I touch anything, left or right. And then once I see the double arrow, I left click on it, don't let go, and I move it back in. Okay, like that. Now I don't want to go any further to hit the M, otherwise it'll go back to a double line. So let me show you how to do that again. So let's say that you go over there and you go, hey, I can't get that little white circle. I put my mouse up there and there's nothing there. Remember, you have to left click on it, and that creates those little white circles on the right and the left side and the top and the bottom. And you can also grab from the bottom, and you can open it up or close it by just clicking on that little white circle there. Or, again, we want to tighten it down on the right. Little white circle, we want to bring it in, tighten it down like that, okay, and then let go. Now, it doesn't look very center, so how we're going to center it? Again, you can just simply make it go into 4 arrows in the middle. Before you click anything, just move the mouse over on top of it until it's 4 arrows, left click on it, and drag it to the right. Now you'll notice something interesting. Do you see that little purple line going across there? And then there's a purple line up and down? Well, that's perfect, because that means it's centered between the dotted lines on both sides. So you have a nice uniformed website. And then you can let go. Okay? It's the same thing again. Let's say I left clicked off of it now. I just left clicked anywhere, and now it doesn't show anything. Now there's my white circles are gone. Okay, but the moment I left click on it, I have control again to move it back and forth. Again, looking for I call them cheat lines. Okay, you look for the purple cheat line straight up and down and left to right. So now you have a perfect domain based on the size of the domain inside there. Now I'm going to left click, and then we're going to bring a video in. So that's the next thing we want to do. So we want to click left, go over here to the left side, and we want to click on add. And this time, again, we're going to move the mouse down to video. So, and remember, if any of this is going too fast, you can always pause the video and then practice it and then come back to the video. Okay, or pause it and replay this section. So we have video. Now, you notice we were just in text up here on the left. We're going to video on the left, and we notice that there's a YouTube video and Vimeo. So we're going to use YouTube because that's more popular, and we're going to left click on the YouTube. When we pull the mouse, we put it right in the middle of the YouTube there. We left click on it, don't let go, just like we did with the text. We drag it to the right like this, and then we let go. Okay, so now we have a video in there. So let's go ahead and look for that cheat line. We move it to the left a little bit, and I kind of like it about that, a little bit below the dotted line there. And now we're also going to have a link for that. So we're going to go back over to the second circle here, left click on it, on add, and now we're going to go to buttons. Okay, now you can actually create your own button, but we're going to use the one they already have in here, just for example of training, and it's the fourth one down. So you left click on button. Now you go to the right, move it down, move your mouse to the right before you go down, and we'll pick on let's say discover more. So we'll left click on discover more, do the same thing. We're going to drag it to the right. Okay, and that's going to be our link. That's going to go to the that's going to go to wherever website we want it to go to. So again, we left click on discover, and we're going to go back and forth finding that purple cheat line. See that? So it's perfectly centered if that's what you want to do. You want to center the YouTube. So you have your domain name on top, and that's the domain people will type in to actually come to this website. And then you have your YouTube video. So we're going to go find a YouTube video, and you want to stay on this tab, open up a brand new tab, and we're going to go to YouTube and see what YouTube videos we can find. And now let's say you have a company YouTube video. That's perfect, and then we can use that. So we'll just we'll put about multi-level marketing. Just going to use an example video here, and so let's just, for example, we'll take this one right here. Should I get involved in multi-level marketing? So when you left-click on the video, and hopefully it's your company video or something like it. Now you can go down and scroll down and hit. When you scroll down below, you'll have the name of the video here. Then you have below this red subscribe button, you've got add, share, and more. We're going to click share. Left click on share, and that opens up all these little boxes down here and all this, and you'll see right below that, there it is. You've got an address for YouTube. Now you'll notice it's already in blue, but let's say that it wasn't highlighted in blue. You have to make it blue, all blue. Now every single letter. So the way you paint it over, I call it, is you just left click on the last letter, don't let go, and then just move everything over like that. Now that it's all painted, you want to copy it. So what I do is I put the mouse very carefully into the middle of the blue address there, the YouTube address, the code, okay, and I right click on the address, and I move my mouse and left click on copy, okay? So I've just copied that address. Now I go back to my WIX editor, and I left click on the YouTube, go up here to where it says change YouTube, left click on that. Then I move my mouse over to the right where this new box came up, this new field came up, and I see there's that address again, and I left click on the address. And there's two ways to put that in there. One is you can right click and then go up to paste, okay? You can right click and then go up to paste and then left click, and it'll put the address in there, okay? Now this you'll notice it's in there. But another way to do it is highlight it and then hit Control on your keyboard, Control V like Victor, and then that also will paste that in there, okay? It's a little more neat if you do Control V, and it makes you look like you know a little bit more when you're training somebody else how to do it. Now, one more thing, a couple more things we got to do here. Now, if you want the video to start right when they come to your website, you want to scroll down on the left side here, and you'll notice that when you scroll down, there's that blue bar again, okay? And again, you got to left click on the blue bar itself. Don't let go when you left click, and you can move it up or down. In this case, we want to move it down, and the first one says autoplay on loading. Now you'll notice on the right side here there's like a minus circle here. You want to left click in that little blue area to the right of the minus, and when you left click on it, it opens up that, so the video will start right when you go to the website. Now there's a second one down here, in a loop. We don't need that. We don't need it in a loop. And then below that it says always, never, or on hover. And so I like to put never. Okay, so it just allows you, when you're setting up the video, so that when they're watching the video, they're not going to be clicking on all kinds of different things, okay, so that they get distracted from watching your video. So I put never. If you leave it on always, then it means that they're going to have full controls, and they can back up and click all over and maybe not finish watching your video. So I always put it on never. Now, if you're going to make multiple videos, keep in mind, you don't want autoplay on every video, because they go to the website. Now you're going to have 19 videos all playing at the same time. That's not good. So just on the first video, or just on one video, if you want to have it to autoplay, usually the top one, Any videos that you put below on your website, you want to make sure that they don't autoplay, and you want to make sure that it's fogged out like this, okay, with a minus. But as long as you have it, as long as you left click and that thing is darker blue, then you know it's going to autoplay. Now we're going to go up to the top here of this field box, and we're going to exit off of that. And now we've put our video in there. Now we're going to have a link. So we're going to go create a link right now. And again, you open up a new tab, and all right. And I'm just for fun, I'm going to type in McDonald's at the top of the thing, and that'll take us to mcdonalds.com. Just for practice on how to make a link. Now what you want to do is you want to highlight everything in the address bar. Now the address bar is the top. You can't see me doing it on this video, but just right above at the very top, because Google and there's Firefox, Internet Explorer, they all have their own address bar. And you need to know what the address bar is. So if you don't know about that, you need to research it. But it's usually where you see the www or http, www. That's where it goes directly to the website. Don't get confused with the search bar, where when you're searching something, it takes you to a field, okay, of a bunch of websites. This is taking you directly to the website. Once you get directly on the website, for example, mcdonalds.com, then you want to highlight that address and copy it. So you can bring it back to your link. Now, I'm only using mcdonalds.com. In actuality, and then we're going to go back to WIX, in actuality, that link needs to be going to your primary business. The business that the network marketing company, let's say, that you're trying to get people to go to sign up in your business. And this is where we're going to put that. So keep in mind, the video will actually be a video of your network marketing business, and then Discover More is where the link will be when they click on it. It takes you directly to your network marketing business. But for this example, just to show you, we're going to make it McDonald's. So how do you do that? Well, you left click on Discover More, and again, there's a little chain right here. You'll notice it's called Link, and all these little circles right above the Discover More button. So you're going to left click on that little chain. And then you'll notice you have a bunch of options here on the left. None, page anchor, web address, email, and all this. So we're going to go web address because we want it to go directly to your primary business. In this case, we're making it McDonald's. Now, when I right-click, I copied that whole address, okay, in there from McDonald's. And it's trying to get me to save it here. We'll try it again. So you'll notice I pasted that in there, and it automatically put the entire address in here. If you look up here where it turned blue, you can see my mouse hovering over it. But remember, I had to click on web address. It was by default on page anchor. So left click, it was on page anchor. When I clicked on web address on these left bubbles right here, it made it here. Now remember, there's two ways to put it in there. One, I could right click and paste it like that, or I could hit Control V again. Control V like Victor, and you'll notice that it has the full McDonald's address. Now, even though I only typed mcdonalds.com, after I went in there, it created other extensions off of that address. So you want to make sure you copy the entire address and then paste it into this field box. Otherwise, it won't work. It's got to have the entire McDonald's address. The same thing when you're highlighting the address of where they go to your replicated website for your network marketing company. You want to have the entire root address when you paste it in there. And then, of course, always test it to make sure it's going directly to your website, not to a generic website. And then this means that it's going to open up a new window, like create a new tab when they click on it. So it's not going to take them off of the first page. Then, of course, we're going to go down and hit Done, and that creates the Done. Okay, so now we've done that. We've created the title. We've created the YouTube. We've created the Discover More. Now let's make it a little more direct on whose website this is. So what we're going to do is we're going to click, again, we're going to click Add. We're going to go up to Text. Go to the right, and then scroll down to Bold Title again, because that's the one I like, and we're going to pull it right below the Discover More button. Now, we don't want it to stay there, but we had to do that, because, see, you'll notice that there's a chalk line there at the bottom, a dotted line, and we don't want to go below that dotted line. So when you bring any fonts over, you want to make sure that they're always above the dotted line, because what's down here is the footer, and you'll lose all control of your fonts and your website. It'll look, won't look that good. So stay away from this down here. That's where you might want to type something like copyright, don't copy anything, whatever, but in small print. But right now we want to add your information of who you are and your phone number so people can contact you. So now, how do we do that? Well, I dragged over the font title, and now you'll notice I can left click off of it, I can left click back on it, and you want to make it have these little, again, white circles. Left click on the bold title and don't let go, and then just pull it down. Okay. Now I use my mouse. I see my mouse circle. I can control it again by using my mouse, my circle thing on my mouse. But if you don't have it, again, you got to left click on this. What do you call this? This bar that moves things back and forth. Okay, to make it go down, and then you want to grab it. Left click on it again and grab it again and bring it down. Okay, and then you can left click on the bar and grab it again and bring it down. Okay, now why do I do that? Well, I want the information of the name and information to be lower than the video, because I don't want, of course, move it to the right or the left to get that sheet bar. I don't want the person watching the video up here to be distracted by wanting to have the impulse of scrolling down the page to see who you are until after you've watched the video. Now, we've got one bold title there. We're going to go get another one. So we go back up to our circle here, left click on it, go to bold title, and drag the next one over. Now, you'll see what I'm going to do with this in a second. But you'll notice that there's two of them here. Okay, now the first one, then we're going to put the name on. So we're going to go edit text, and you'll notice that there's the text being edited again. You can make them small or big again. We're at 40 right now pixels, but you can move this bar on the right, left or right, to make it. You can also change the colors again. So what we're going to do is, again, we're going to make sure that it has the white circle there, and move it to the right, way out. Okay, and we're going to do the same thing again, if you want to the bottom one. Okay, go to the bottom one and move it to the right, way out, because we don't want it to double up on us. So always make it a lot bigger than what it really needs to be. So we'll go back to the first one. Now we're going to go to edit text, and then we're going to put the cursor again either at the back of the E on bold, and you can just simply backspace it very carefully and slowly. Do not go past the B. Okay, why? Because we don't want to change the font. Once you lose the B, the font's gone and it goes back to a default font, and I want to keep that font, bold font. And then we're going to put on here your name of who that is. Okay, so my name, of course, is Gary Smith. All right, and then once I type that in, I'm going to go between the B and the G, and I'm going to backspace. So there's my name on there. Now, again, I want it to be a white this time. I can make it yellow or any color I want, but that's what this box is for on the left. We're going to go down here to color, and I'm going to left click on that A down here, and just in case you didn't see that, look at the A. It's right here. You got bold, italics, all this down here, right below the scroll bar here on the left side here. And this box came up, by the way, when I clicked on it or put my name in there. So you want to left click on color, and we're going to go up to white again, the upper left side there, and then we're going to go to the X. Don't hit change, but go to the X at the top. So we're going to left click on the X there, and then another X click off of that. Now we want to tighten it down. So again, we're going to go to the far right, and you'll see those three white circles again. Left click on it in the middle white circle, scroll it down, but not too far down, just snug it up like that. Okay, now we want it centered. Now you'll notice right there we got Discover More, and the name is not centered. So we're going to move it to the right, and there it is. There's that purple cheat line again for centering it. Now it's going to be easier to do the second one. We want a little space between the first and the second. I might bring it down just a little bit more, like that, by left clicking on it. Don't let go and drag it down. And then we're going to go to Edit Text. And remember that you widened it out before you did that, so you have plenty of room to work with. And then in this case, You can backspace it to the B, or I'm just going to highlight it over there. That's actually the better way to do it. Don't highlight the B, just highlight the, and the way I highlight it is I left click, and then I move the mouse to the right, and I left click behind the E in title, for bold title, and paint it over to the B. Okay, then what I can do is I can just hit delete on my keyboard. Okay, or I can just start typing and it'll go away. So then we're going to put our phone number in here. Okay, and I'm just going to make up a number because it's just a training example. And then I put the phone number in here. Then we go back to the B and the 9. Remember right here, the 9 and the B. Put left click between the two, the B and the 9. Okay, and that'll put that cursor going up and down like that. All right. Now another way to do it, it's kind of like a long way to do it, is on your keyboard. You'll notice you have those 4 arrows, up, down, left, right arrows, and you can just simply walk over to the 9 and the B. But it's a lot quicker just to take the mouse and left click it between the B and the 9. Once you do that, backspace, and voila, you have your phone number. Okay. Now one more thing we need to do, we need to highlight the phone number again and go to color. Remember, you got your box here again. Go to color, same thing we did before. Left click on the color button, move it up here to the white square at the top, and then exit off of that one, and then exit off of that one. Okay. Now we want to tighten it down. So we're going to go to the right, the far right, where we have those 3 white arrows again. Left click, look at it until the arrow turns double. You notice how it's a double arrow, one on the left, one on the right, and left click on it on the middle white circle there, and don't let go, and then drag it down to tighten it down. Okay, on the number, but don't go too far, otherwise it'll double up the line. Now we want to center that, so we're going to left click on it. We're going to go to the middle of the phone number there, where you see 4 arrows now, and you're going to move it to the right or the left, and I moved it a little bit to the left, and there it is. There's my cheat line. So I'm perfectly centered, and you look up the video and everything is perfectly centered. Now we need to bring our picture in. Now, to add a picture, we're going to click on Add. We're going to go to Image. Okay, so we click on Image. We go to Image, and now remember, when you go to Image, don't go down like this and then move to the right. Oh, where'd my image go? You got to go over to Image and then move your mouse straight over to the right, and then go down to My Image Upload. So you're in control of that particular field. So you're going to left click on My Image Uploads. Okay. You'll notice there's no images in there yet. We're going to go to Upload Image. Now this is where you should have your picture already set as a particular file, a picture file, on your desktop or in your picture folder. And we're going to go get a picture right now. So it says Upload Image. We're going to left click on Upload Images. And then you're in your computer. Now I happen to have mine on my desktop, so you'll notice on the left side here, and I'm working with Windows 7, but it works, I believe, with any of them. You're going to left click on desktop if that's where you want to get your image. Then you got to go over to the scroll bar here and go down and look for the images. So in this case, I'm going to put my image here, left click on Gary Picture, and then you want to make sure you left click on that so it controls that, and then hit open. Okay, now it put the picture in there, and then you want to hit done, and you'll notice it's a JPEG. Say it's a JPEG, so JPEG works, and then but I think it works on a lot of others too. And then you want to left click on done, and now you have your picture. Now don't be alarmed that the picture looks like it's like half cut off. It's really not. It's just it looks that way. Now let's say you didn't want that picture and you wanted to get rid of it. You can highlight over it, and you see this little trash can right here. You can left click on the trash can, and that'll delete the picture. Then you'll have to go load another one. But sometimes you delete stuff and you go, I don't want to be so clogged up, because there is a limit to how many pictures you can put on here with WIX. So if you have some pictures you don't want, you want to delete them, that's how you do it. You just left click over it, go down to the trash thing, left click on the trash thing, it'll be gone. They'll even give you a warning when you click on, oh, I don't want to do it, cancel, I changed my mind. So you left click on that, it gives kind of a blue frame around it, knowing that that's the one that you want to click on. Then you go to the lower right down here where it says Add to Page, and then you want to left click on Add to Page. Now it just happened to land right there, but sometimes it lands over here and stuff. So now sometimes when it goes on the page, it's real big. It's like that, okay? So you have to know how to shrink it or make it big. And the way you do that is you want to, again, you see these little white circles all around the picture, and that's how you have control. Number one, you can left click right in the middle of the picture and on your mouse, don't let go, and you can move the picture up or down, sideways, whatever, okay? But we want to make it smaller so it fits between the name and the phone number. So what we're going to do is in the upper right corner, we're going to make it so it's a double arrow. Now, whatever you do, don't do the side or the top, because what that'll do is it'll squish the picture and take it out of context. And it's real hard to figure it out how it was originally. So whatever you do, do not squish the picture from the right or squish it from the top or squish it from the left. Always go to the upper right or the upper left, and you'll see a double arrow is created on the corner there. And then you want to left click on the mouse and slowly drag it inward on the picture until it fits the size that you want. You can also make it big the same way. So remember what I'm saying. You can also do it from the upper left side. And then you left click on it while it's a double arrow, and then you can shrink it down from there. That way it doesn't ruin the picture, by squeezing it left or right. So here we go. I'm going to shrink it down to about like that, and I'm going to set it up inside here remember, I left click on the picture, and that gives me control of moving it where I want it to go. And I think I'll make it a little bit bigger. And I'm going to go to the lower left right corner. You'll notice that, and that makes it bigger as well. So any of the corners will work. All right, and then I've got my picture. Now I want to left click off of it. Now what you want to do now is you want to publish it. So the way you publish it is in the upper right hand corner, you'll see this blue publish button. So you want to left click on publish, and you'll notice that the address that I created when I made the actual username for this is already in there, but the back part of it is not. So you want to make this related to your website. So if your website is, let's say, gold bars, you want to go gold bars, okay, like that. If your website is Herbalife, you might want to go Herbalife. And that just tells you that that's the website. So in this case, I'm just going to put practice. Okay, so that tells me this was my practice website. Once you hit save, after you've typed this, it's locked in forever. You can't change it. So this is a really important part. The first time you ever publish it, you want to make the extension. Now, the next website you make, you can't make it the same extension because the internet understands that link or that address specifically is for that website. So the next time you make a website, you might want to make it Practice 2 or Herbalife 2, or you might want to make a totally different word altogether. Just keep track of them. Now once you do that, you want to hit save and continue in the lower right hand corner, and now it's saved and it's locked in. It pops up a second time, so you can hit done. Okay, and then it pops up a third time, and then it says, congratulations, your site is published and is live online. That's what I'm reading right here. So I'm going to hit done third time. Now the website is up. Now let's see if we did a good job. We're going to look at it one more time. We got the name and everything. Now you notice when they watch the video, they can't see my name without scrolling down. You don't want them to see it because you want them to be focused on your video. And the video should start up automatically whenever you go to the website. So we're going to go check it out. We're going to click on Publish in the upper right-hand corner, and then we're going to hit View Site. Okay, so we can see what everybody else sees. Okay, and that's what it did. It started up right away. And notice I scroll around, it doesn't have anything at the bottom for me to because I never put any toggles or any scroll bars or anything on it. So it's nice and clean. And when they come to the website, they should have your domain name at the top. Now let's check our Discover More button and see if that works. We're going to left click on that, and sure enough, we go to McDonald's. Okay, and then let's scroll down, and sure enough, you'll see the name and the phone number. So that's how you make a website.